Film fans of YouTube, hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh, your movie apprentice, and today I'm going to be looking at Ringu 2, the direct sequel to the original 1998 classic Ringu. Directed by Hideo Nakata and starring Miki Nakatani, Rikiya Otaka, and the returning Nanako Matsushita. This film is the follow-up to Ringu 1, as the apprentice of Reiko's ex-husband from the first one begins to investigate the meaning behind her mentor's death, as well as the disappearance of Reiko and Yoshi. Before I get into the review, if you like what I do on this channel, please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel. It would really help me a lot. And again, let me know what your favourite Ring interpretation is down in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into this review. So this film is actually the second sequel to Ringu. The first sequel, Spiral, came out the exact same year as Ringu. Unfortunately, it wasn't that well received. So they invited Hideo back to tell his interpretation of the original film's follow-up, but didn't base it on any of the books. How did this one work out? For me, it improves on some things and falls worse on some other things. Start off with some positives. I will say the creep factor in this is knocked up to 11. This one feels very much more a paranormal film than the original did. There are more ghostly apparitions in this one. There is more creepy moments, and the imagery is considerably darker than the original. This one felt more akin to what the style Hollywood was going for in their US remake, and it worked very effectively with adding a few scares to the tale. There is an amazing little moment where it's not really a Sadako moment, it's a different moment, but when it happens, it is downright terrifying as it slowly builds up. And I'm disappointed there was never a third film that covered this aspect of the story. There was a third film last year called Sadako, but that one was a follow-up 20 years on from this one. So there was never actually any follow-up to a certain scene and new character that I feel like could have had its own little spin-off. But that's just me. For me personally, the horror in this has really got amped up to 11, and it worked quite effectively. I also love it ties up every single character from the first one. The girl that you heard about that was with Yoko when she died at the start of the first one, she actually returns in this. You get to see her in this speechless state. The main character in this, as I said, she was just a small bit part player in the first one. She took center stage with this one, and she really got to show her acting shots with this one. Usually with these sorts of films, like you see these bit part characters and you never see them again, but this film made sure to see that every single character had something to do, and her step up in this is truly remarkable. However, I will have to say that the pacing of this is a little off. I think that is down to the fact there are just a few too many characters in this, in my personal opinion. Obviously, we have Reiko and Yoichi in this. We've also got our Yuli protagonist, as well as a doctor. We have the girl from the first one. We have a police officer. We have the uncle of Sadako. There is just a number of characters at play in here, and there's a lot of little plot threads that are being woven together at once. And for a film that's around the exact same length as the original, it really, for me, didn't work as well, and at times it did become quite difficult to follow. I will be honest, I had to go look at the Wikipedia page straight after this to get a bearing of what each scenario meant, and yeah, it made a lot more sense reading through it, because at the time it felt a little bit random. I will say as well, considering that Reiko was our sole survivor of the first one, not counting Yoshi, she is very much underutilized in this one. They have a whole subplot where her and Yoichi have vanished, and you thought that would be the main crux of the film going forward, but they just appear at some point during the film. Out of nowhere, no real hints at where they're hiding, they just appear. And this film definitely does away with the whole tape scenario, and really just focuses on the supernatural element of Sadako and her rage. And that sort of takes away from me from the first one, because there's no real timeline of events in this one. It's very awkward to follow exactly how much time has passed. There are certain characters that will say they've watched the tape, and then 2 scenes later they are dead, and it's just one of those that, for me, didn't really work as well. Whilst I do love that they went balls to the wall with the creepy stuff, it didn't get as cohesive as the first one did. It wasn't as easy to follow, and that for me was a great disappointment. The final scene is really entertaining, though Sadako herself is a bit lackluster. One of the big bits of the first one is that we never saw Sadako's face. In this one, her face appears and it is very disappointing. There was nothing remotely terrifying about her in this film, really sacrificing the atmosphere that the first one had to make up for the anxiety feelings. This one failed to keep that, focused a lot more on creep factor, told a few incoherent narratives. There's a few too many subplots. It's just one of those where I feel like while I did enjoy watching the sequel, it couldn't hope to live to the height of that original Ring film. Overall, just to summarise it, Ringu 2 ups the creep factor, though there are a few too many characters. Some characters from the original one are underused, while some of them are getting made full circle. There is an inconsistent tone with the pacing, and it can be quite difficult to follow at times, and the tape concept is almost entirely done away with, which is the main thing that kept you terrified in the first one. With that all being said, I'm going to say that Ringu 2 for me is just an okay cup of tea. So Ringu 2, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Okay, if you like what I do on this channel, click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me a lot. Coming up on the channel, we've got the Raindance coverage coming up very shortly, and I've got a few Blumhouse films to get through as well. And there are a few new films coming out. It's going to be a busy few days, and I can't wait to be able to share all these reviews with you all. But until next time, my name is Josh, I have been your Movie Apprentice, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you for watching, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. While you are here, if you haven't done it yet, please feel free to drop a like and consider hitting that subscribe button for more reviews coming all the time. And also, while you are here, there are some other videos over there that you might want to sink your teeth into. Have a good day, guys, and do enjoy.